Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sheila. In today's video we are going to be learning how to make this top. It's made of two colors and I'll be using black and white, and let's get started. For the materials, you'll need a measuring tape. I'll be using this to demonstrate exactly what measurements I used for my top, and then a 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and for the yarn I'll be using this yarn. It's called Winter King. It's a 4-ply acrylic yarn, and you can see it's 100% acrylic and it's machine washable, which made me try it out. This is my very first time using this yarn, and let's see how it works out. I'll be using two colors, which will be black and white. So let's begin. One ball of each is okay, is enough for the entire top. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off with my black yarn, and I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I'll make a chain that's a multiple of 3 plus 2 chains. So multiple of 3, I'll make a total of 18 chains. This is the 4th, 5th, 6th, so my multiple of 3 is 18 chains plus 2, so that means my starting chain is 20 chains. And then if you want a longer top, you'll have to do some more chains. So let me take a measurement for you. This will be about 6 inches when not stretched. You can see that, but if stretched it goes to 7 inches. So that's my chain of 20, and you'll go into the second chain from the hook and make a single crochet, chain up 3 and double crochet 3 more times in that same exact chain where you place the single crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. So we have our 3 double crochets finished. You're going to skip over 2 chains, and into the third chain you're going to make a single crochet, chain up 3 and place 3 more double crochets in the same exact chain. Then you're going to skip 2 chains, and into the third you're going to make a single crochet, chain up 3 and place 3 more double crochets in the same chain, and we are going to repeat this all the way across. Keep doing this until the end of the row. So skip 2 chains, and into the third chain make a single crochet, chain up 3, 3 double crochets, skip 2 chains, and into the third single crochet, chain 3. So I've come to the end of my row and I've placed my last 3 double crochets here. You should be having 3 chains left, and you're going to just skip these 2 and then go into the very last one with 1 single crochet, and that marks the end of the very first row. This is how it should look like. This pattern creates scallops, and for me I have a total of 6 scallops for my very first row. And then after this you're going to chain up 1 and cut your yarn. This is one of those projects that has so many loose ends, but we shall deal with them later, don't worry about that. So that marks the end of row 1, And now I'm going to go on to my next color. So I don't know what your next color is, but for me that's white. And I'm going to turn my work over and attach my yarn where I left off with the black yarn, in that single crochet that we last did for the first row. And then you're going to chain up 3 and place 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets in this single crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, and then you're going to go at the peak of this scallop in between the chain 3 and the double crochet. There's that space, and make a single crochet, then chain up 3 and double crochet in that same exact space 3 times, and then go into the next peak of the next scallop and place a single crochet like that. And we're going to repeat this all the way across. Chain 3, double crochet 3 times in that same exact space, go into the next scallop and make a single crochet, chain 3, double crochet 3 more times in the same space, go into the next scallop with a single crochet, and repeat this all the way across. So when you come to the end, after placing your 3 double crochets here, you're going to go at the peak of the next scallop, which is the very last scallop, and make a single crochet there. So when you have the same number of scallops for your second row, that marks the end of the second row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we also had 6 for our very first row. So this is the end of the second row. You're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn. And then you're going to introduce black again, you're going to turn your work over and attach your black yarn where you left off with white in that final single crochet, and you're going to repeat row 2. So chain up 3, double crochet 3 more times in that single crochet, single crochet in the very first scallop, chain 3, double crochet 3 times in the same space, single crochet on top of the next scallop, chain 3, double crochet 3 times in the same space, single crochet in the next scallop, and we are going to repeat this all the way across. So let me work faster so that we come to the end. So when you come to the end, you're going to do the same exact thing that we did for row 2 at the end. You just go into the peak of the next scallop and single crochet, and you can see we have 6 scallops still. and we are going to repeat that row until we have a total of 8 rows. So far we have 3 rows. We are going to do 5 more, alternating between black and white, black and white. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back when I have my 8 rows. If you're a smaller size and your bust is a bit narrow, you may consider doing 6 rows. 8 rows may be too big for you. So for the size small, you should do a total of 6 rows, but I'll be doing a size medium, so I'm going to be doing 8 rows. Then for the larger sizes, I'll advise about 8 or 10 rows. So you decide. This doesn't really like affect the top, but you don't want your top to meet at the back. We want to leave some space for the strapping of the chain that we are going to do on both sides. So 6 rows for small, 8 rows for medium, and then for the large, decide between 8 or 10 rows. So right now I have my 8 rows ready. You can see 2, 4, 6 and 8. And now for the next 8 rows, we are going to be doing something different. We are going to be creating coverage for our bust area. So we are going to be working one increase for the first side of the first breast. So you're going to attach your yarn the same exact way. So my next color is black. You can even make this top in multicolors, so many different colors. That's really up to you. So we've attached our yarn and we're going to chain up 3. We're going to start our row the same exact way we've been doing. So 3 double crochets, and then single crochet in the first scallop, chain 3. So we are basically just repeating the same exact thing that we were doing before, and the change will come at the end of the row. So keep working the same pattern. So we've done our very last scallop. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But since I told you we are now going to introduce increases to cover our bust area, you're going to go on top of the next scallop. Normally this would be our very last stitch, but this is going to change since we are creating coverage. So chain up 3 and then place 3 more double crochets in that same exact space, and you're going to chain up 1 and cut your yarn, and that marks the end of this row. I know now we are at different number of rows, so I'll be explaining giving general instructions, because some people did 6 rows here, some people did 8, some people did 10. But regardless of how many rows that you did, we are now starting to increase. So on the size small, you're somewhere here. On the size medium, you're here. On the size large, you're somewhere here, if you did 10 rows for your top. So we've done our very first increase, and now we're going to attach our next color, which is going to be white. So the increase is going to be on only one side. This side is going to remain flat. So we're going to attach our yarn in that very last double crochet that we did, and we're going to chain up 3 and double crochet 3 more times in that same exact stitch. like that, and then single crochet on top of that scallop, and then go all the way down, placing scallops at each and every scallop normally, and then I'll show you what to do at the end. So nothing really changes in the middle part of the top. The changes are always at the edges when we are shaping the top. So that's why I'm not explaining much at this point. So when you come to the end, you're going to just place a single crochet just like we were doing before. And since this is not the increase side, you're going to just chain up one and cut your yarn. And that marks the end of this row. So have a look at this. We are starting to create coverage for the first breast. So this is how your work looks like, and at the base we want to maintain the flat surface, and this side we shall be shaping the top. So let's go on to our next color, which is black. We are going to attach where we left off with the white at the base of our top. Attach your yarn, chain up 3, place 3 double crochets in that same exact single crochet, and single crochet in the scallop, on top of the scallop, and we are going to do that all the way across, and I'll meet you guys at this point. So I've come to the end of my row, and since this is our increase side, instead of ending your row with a single crochet, we are going to chain up 3 and place 3 more double crochets on top of that last scallop, just like we did for this row. So after your 3 double crochets, you're going to chain up 1 and cut your yarn, and we are going to introduce our next color. So we turn our work around. So you should be seeing this effect right now. We are rising up, and we are going to do that. Remember, you have your rows here. I did a total of 8 rows of no increase, no decrease, and right now I have 3 rows of increase, and I want a total of 8 rows of increase. That applies to a size small to medium, and then for the size large, you're going to do 10 rows of increase, and XL you may consider 10 or 12 rows. So the coverage will differ. You have to just put it against yourself to see if it works for you. But for me, I've done 3 rows of increase so far, and I'm going to do 5 more. So keep in mind, we keep this flat, but we increase on this side. So I've shown you how to do that, and whenever you get to this side, you increase, but whenever you get to this side, you maintain it flat. You end your rows with a single crochet, and then begin your rows normally. So I'm going to go ahead and do 5 more rows so that I have a total of 8 rows of increases, and that means I'll have a total of 16 rows. But then if you're a size large, you're going to do a total of 10 rows of increase, and if you're XL, then you may consider doing 10 rows or 12 rows of increase. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back when I have my rows finished. So right now I'm done with my 8 rows of increase. You can see I have a total of 16 rows, and this is how my work looks like. You can see it's slanting towards the upper side, and then towards the bottom we have a flat surface. We haven't increased on this side. So after my 16th row, I'm going to chain up 1 and cut my yarn. I don't know how many rows you've done for you, but make sure you follow the instructions I had given earlier on. So after this, we are going to be moving downwards. Now we are no longer moving upwards, because this is enough coverage for a size small to medium. If you're a size large, I told you 10 rows. Then if you're size extra large, I told you between 10 to 12 rows. So this entirely depends on whether your yarn is stretchy or not. You have to really keep that in mind, because you're using different yarns. So for me, mine is a bit stretchy, so yeah, I don't have to do so many rows. So I'm moving on to my next color, and I'm attaching where I left off with my white yarn, which is the base of the top. So attach your yarn, and we're going to do rows of decrease. As I told you, we are now moving downwards, but we are going to do the same number of rows of decrease as the number of rows of increase. So I did 8 rows of increase. That means I'm going to do 8 rows of decrease towards the downer side of the top. So you're going to chain up 3, and we are going to start our row the same exact way. Nothing is going to change because the base of the top remains flat. And then single crochet and go all the way up to this point when you have 2 scallops left, and I'll show you what to do from there. So I have 2 scallops left. I'm going to continue with my row, chain 3, 3 double crochets, single crochet into the next scallop, chain 3 and 3 double crochets, and then make your last single crochet in that very last scallop there, and then chain up 1 and cut your yarn. And now we're moving on to our next color. You can see we've stopped moving towards this side. We're moving on to our next color, which is white, and this time we're going to attach it in a different place. So we're not going to be attaching it here, but here, because we are on the side of decreasing, and if we attach it here, we are not going to be slanting towards the bottom of the top. So you're going to attach it at the peak of this scallop, this very first scallop on this side. So normally we would attach it here, but this time we are going to be attaching it here. Then chain up 3 and double crochet 3 times into that same exact space, and then single crochet. So you can see our work has started moving downwards, and now we're going to continue with our pattern all the way to the end of the row. So from here onwards, nothing is going to really change. Just remember to maintain the flat base of the top. So this is what your work should look like. We've moved up, now we are moving down. So I'm done with this row, and I've ended here the same exact way that we've been ending our rows. And now I'm going to attach my next color. And since this is the flat side, everything remains the same. So you attach your next color. Chain up 3 and double crochet 3 times in that same single crochet. single crochet on top of the scallop, and go on with the flow of the pattern. So I'll be showing you this whole row. We're doing the same exact thing as we've been doing in the middle of the top where there are no changes. So right now we are left with only one scallop, and we're going to chain up 3 and place 3 more double crochets in that same exact space, and place your single crochet here on top of the very last scallop, and then chain up 1 and cut your yarn like that. And now we are introducing our next color. And remember what I told you, when you're decreasing, you don't attach your next color here. You attach it on top of this first scallop here, so that we can get the slanting effect of the top. So chain up 3, double crochet 3 times, single crochet on the next scallop. So that's how you decrease this top. We've increased, now we are decreasing, and we want a total of 8 rows of decrease. So I had 8 rows of no increase, no decrease. Then I had 8 rows of increase, and I need 8 rows of decrease. So far I have 3 rows. I'm going to go ahead and do 5 more rows of no decrease. So make sure you look closely and rewind the video where necessary to know what to do when you get to a particular point. So for me, I'm going to do 5 more rows. So this is my 4th row, and after this 4th row I'm going to do 4 more rows of decrease at this point, so that I can get to the middle of my chest. So go ahead and do the number of rows that you need, because we need different rows for different sizes, and then I'll meet you back when you're in the exact middle of your chest. So right now we're done with the rows of decreases, and this is what you should have. I hope you did the same exact number as the rows of increases. So right now I had 8, 8 and 8. That means I have a total of 24 rows for mine. I'm making for a size small to medium. So for our next row, we are going to start increasing again, because we need this, and then go up and then down. So it's now time to increase, and we ended our row at the bottom side of our top. So we are going to attach your yarn, chain up 3 and start your row the same exact way as we were doing before. 3 double crochets in that single crochet, single crochet on top of the scallop, and then go all the way across until you have 1 scallop, and I'll show you what to do from there. So I've come to the end and I've placed my 3 double crochets in this scallop. So I'll do 1 single crochet in the very last scallop, And since we are increasing, and this is the increased side where we are doing the shaping of the top, you're going to do the same exact thing that we were doing before on the increased side. So you're going to chain up 3 and then go into that very last space with 3 double crochets, and that's it. You're going to chain up 1 and cut your yarn. So that already marks the increased side. On the other side, you can see we've started moving upwards, so we're going to continue increasing for the same number of rows that we did on these 2 sides. So we had 8 rows of increase, 8 rows of decrease, and we need 8 rows of increase and 8 rows of decrease. I'm going to request you to rewind the video to this point where we started increasing, and you see exactly what you did here, and apply the same exact knowledge here. So rewind the video to this point. I'll be placing the time of this particular point in the description box so that you just go and tap on those minutes and it will take you back to this point. And you're going to do the same exact thing that you've done on this side onto this side. I'm going to go ahead and work mine, and then I'll be back when I'm done with the second breast coverage. So right now we've come to the end of the increased side, and now we're going to start decreasing. So we're going to just keep following the video from this point until we achieve this slant on this side, this slant onto this side, so that we create a complete coverage for the second breast. So go ahead and continue watching from this point and achieve the same exact thing here. So after doing your decrease side, you should notice that you've come back to the same number of scallops that you had before we even started increasing our top on this side. Remember, I had a total of 6 scallops, and now I'm back to those 6 scallops. And this is my 8th row of decrease. We had 8 rows of no increase, no decrease, 8 rows of increase, 8 rows of decrease, 8 rows of increase, 8 rows of decrease, and now we are going to go to the rows like this on this side. So we need another total of 8 rows, or whatever number of rows that you did at the beginning before you started increasing. So we had about 6 rows for the small sizes, then we had 8 rows for the mediums, then we had 8 or 10 rows for the large. So do the same number of rows that you did here onto this side. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and do a total of 8 rows, because that's what I had in the beginning. So I'm cutting my yarn, and now we're going to start the rows of no increase, no decrease. So grab your yarn and attach it here. Place 3 double crochets in the very first single crochet here, chain 3, 3 double crochets in the same space, single crochet on top of the next scallop, chain 3, 3 double crochets, single crochet in the next scallop, chain 3, three double crochets, single crochet in the next scallop. Continue doing that until you have the same number of scallops as the previous row. So far we have 1 2 3 4 5, and now we should be working our very last one. So here, this is our 6th scallop and single crochet at the end, and then this is the end of our row. You chain 1 and cut your yarn, and you're going to repeat this same exact row until we have a total of 8 rows of no increase, no decrease. So just remember to have the same exact number of scallops each and every row. That means you will not have increased or decreased on any side. So 6 scallops again, chain 1, cut your yarn. So I've come to the end of my 8 rows, and this is how my work looks like. Instead of doing 8 rows, I did a total of 7 rows because I wanted to end my top with the black yarn, and remember the even rows were white for my top, so I decided to do 7 rows. And with the black, you have something like this. And on the other side, remember we started with a chain. That means we have something more flat on this side, and we want to achieve this look on this other side. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to chain up 5, and then single crochet on top of the next scallop, chain 2, single crochet on top of the next scallop, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So that helps us to have a flat surface where we can put our strap when we are lacing it up. So I'm placing my very last single crochet here, and I'll chain up 1 and cut my yarn. So after this, we're basically done with the general shaping of the top. You can see this and then this, and then the ones that run to the side, and then the same applies to the other side. So the next thing that we are going to do is to get rid of all these strands lying around. So you can decide to weave them in, but I wouldn't advise that. Remember, we have two colors at every point. We have black and white, black and white, black and white. And what I want to do is just to make a double knot. Just make sure it's secure enough. You just tie like that, and then cut it off very closely so that we almost don't see it at all. So let me show you that again. Just make a double knot. Make sure it's tight enough, not too tight, but secure enough, and then cut off. And we are going to do that all the way across and get rid of all these strings around our top. And you'll notice something different when it comes to these rows. They won't be at the same point. the strands won't be at the same point. So you will get the black and then the white, and then tie, and make sure you don't tamper with this. You tie slowly, lose tension a bit, and then make the second knot, and after that you cut it off. So at this point we've tied, but we haven't tampered with this group of double crochets, because if you had made it tight, this was going to meet this one and tamper with the sizing of our top. So that's what you do on the upper sides. So go ahead and keep tying until you get rid of all the strings laying around, and I'll meet you back when you're done with that. So after getting rid of all the strings laying around, you should have something like this. There'll be very small knots all over the top, and this is my right side. And at this point you should notice one side has white dominant and one side has black dominant. So my dominant side, my right side is where black is dominant. That's what I prefer. But if you prefer white to be dominant, this should be your right side. So for me, this is my right side, and I'm going to attach my yarn at any corner. So let me do it at this corner here, and we are going to go around our top just to give it a neat edging. We are going to make 3 single crochets here, and then 2 single crochets in the next space. Sorry, 3 single crochets, then move into the next space with 3 single crochets, and then the next space with 3 single crochets, and continue to do that all the way down. So we are just creating a simple edging for our top. So after this, when you get to this corner, you're going to place a total of 3 more single crochets in that space just to get the turning point here. That means we are at the base of the top now, and you're going to place 3 single crochets in each and every black space. Remember, the white we kept ending with a single crochet, so we don't have a white space where to put the single crochet. So every black row will get 3 single crochets. So you just go into the space between the chain 3 and the double crochet and place 3 single crochets. So that's what you have. Keep doing this all the way across. So this is what you should have. The only disadvantage is the knots are on the right side, but since they are uniform, you don't even notice because they're at every point. So after this, you're going to go to this side, and then you're going to place 3 more single crochets in that same exact space so that we can turn to this side, and then you're going to place 3 single crochets in each and every space. 1, 2, 3. Go to the next space and keep doing that all the way to the corner. So when you get to the corner, you do your 3 single crochets and then do 3 more for the turning. 1, 2, and 3. Turn your work, and this time it's the white that has the spaces where to work. It's no longer black, so you go into each white row with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3, and keep doing that. 1, 2, 3. So when you start on the increase rows, each color has a space where to work. So we are going to just go into each and every row with 3 single crochets. So I'm placing my single crochets in the black and then the white, 3 single crochets. So keep doing that all the way up. So when you get up here, there is this gap here. You're going to go into it with a total of 5 single crochets because it's the tip of the top. So 5 single crochets in the very top row of the top, and then we are going to go down 3 in each, and then when you get here, when you finish placing your 3 single crochets in this one, I'll meet you at this point and I show you what to do. So I just noticed that now it's no longer spaces, there are stitches here. So you go into each and every stitch, 1, 2, and then 3 of black, and then 3 stitches in the space, and then we go back to the stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 in the space. Continue doing that. So this is what you should have. And then when you get down here, you're going to place your 3 single crochets and then move on to the next side with 3 single crochets in each and every row. So we're just creating a simple edging for our top, and you can see now that the top is more black on the edges, which we want because crochet tends to be dirty on the edges. So make sure you go all the way around, and when you get here, you're going to be working stitches and space just like we did at this point, and you go all the way down until this point where we started the single crochets from. So the other thing I wanted to point out is don't forget to place 5 single crochets at the tip of the next break up coverage. So 5 at the tip, and then you go all the way down. So when you get to the point where you started your single crochets, you're going to just go into the very first single crochet that you made and make a slip stitch, and then you chain 1 and cut your yarn, and that marks the end of the edging of the top. So I'm going to get rid of these strands. So I have 2 here, and I'll tie them to the wrong side of my work. And for these ones where it's 1-1, I'm going to use a tapestry needle, so I'm going to ignore them for now. But this is what your top should look like right now. And now we're going to be doing the straps. we're just going to put 2 long straps at this point and at this point, so that they crisscross at the back and then they lace up at the back of our top. So this is what you have for now. This is how your top will look like. So remember, we were placing 5 stitches there. So you're going to get the middle stitch, which is the 3rd stitch, and we're going to be putting straps. You're going to attach your yarn in the 3rd stitch, which is the exact middle stitch, and then single crochet just to secure our strap even more. And I don't know how you prefer to do your straps, but I'm going to do spaghetti straps. Those are the very tiny ones, because that's what I prefer for this top. So I'm going to just make a simple chain of about 200 chains to 250. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So you're going to attach these straps. I did a total of 200 chains on both sides. You're going to attach chains on both sides, both tips of the bra cups, because for this particular top, these are our bra cups. So you're going to turn your work to the wrong side. So I told you where black is dominant, that's my right side, and this is my wrong side where white is dominant. So I'm going to bring in my top like this, and you should be having 1 2 3 4 5 6, then 1 2 3 4 5 6 gaps on both sides. So you're going to get the strap from this side and put it through the first gap on this side like that. So I told you I will crisscross them so that we form an X at the back. So bring the one on this side and put it through the first gap on this side like that. So we shall form an X at the back of our top. Then you're going to skip the next space and then go into the next. And we are now lacing up our chain at the back of our top to create that crisscross pattern. So that's basically it. Continue to do this. And since we had 6 spaces, our very last space is going to be this one down. You're going to skip the 6th and then go into the very last one down and do the same on the other side. You skip this, so this is it. This is how your top should look like, and I hope you guys liked the tutorial. Can't wait to see your creations from this pattern, and I'll make sure I give you something for the bottom part of this particular design, whether a short or a skirt. I'm still thinking about it, but I really thought this would be a really cute top for so many outfits. So make sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.